Hey everybody, Stephanie here, and this is my Learning Management System Analysis for ISDT 7335 Management Application Analysis with Dr. Chang. Hi, my name is Stephanie Galvan Russell. I am a middle school librarian and instructional systems design and technology EDD student, an overall nerd, and an educational technology enthusiast. And for the purpose of this project, I am an LMS analyst. And the notes on the bottom of the slide say, while I would love to be an LMS analyst or director of educational technology, I'm only holding this role for this assignment. All right. For this project, I have assumed the role of a technology director, helping administrators and teachers determine an appropriate learning management system for their school. I will be investigating the course building functions that Canvas and Blackboard have and evaluate them so that administrators and instructors can make an informed decision on what LMS to choose. Notes: I only have access to the instructor side of Blackboard because my internship this summer for the EDD program is with Dr. Perry of Sam Houston's Library Science program, and I am working as her TA in 3 courses. And I have access to the Canvas instructor side of Canvas through my school district. So the first thing we're going to look at is the course quality control. In Canvas, there are multiple ways that you can ensure your course quality. You can unpublish or publish at any time if you want to change something, but it's really easy to just make changes throughout the course, and we're going to go over through a lot of this. You can import a previous course you've created, whether it's from an actual file or if you're importing from the Commons. You can choose your course homepage. You can view the course stream, which is how you have it set up. And then there's even a course setup checklist. This was created by Canvas, but it's also turned on so that it's available to teachers by my district. And then there's also the student view where you can see what your course looks like on the student side. And it'll say on the bottom, you are logged into the student view. So you can see what your course looks exactly what a student is going to see as soon as they log in. So when students log into my library Canvas course, this is what they see because that's exactly how I've set it up for them. In Blackboard, they have a similar thing. So you can have the student preview mode, and there's an eyeball right here. And I actually didn't know about it until I started working on this assignment when I went to look for it. And then it shows you at the top, there's a big orange line that says student preview mode is on. So both have good quality control that you can use in your courses. Next is interactive tools. It's important to note when we're talking about interactive tools that there are 4 types. There's learner to learner, where the students or the learners can interact to each other. Learner to instructor, which is how the learner interacts with their instructors. Learner to the content, which is how the learner interacts with the actual content within the course or the LMS. And then learner to system, which is how the learner interacts with the system itself, and how they can make changes, how they can see things differently. And I'm going to move my little camera box so you can see everything here. All right, so in Canvas for learner to learner, there are discussion boards where the students can interact with each other. And there's also the inbox where they can message each other. Now, in my district, you also have the settings where you can change that if you get a message in your Canvas inbox, it can go also to your email. But in my district, we have that turned off, so students have to actually check their Canvas inboxes. Learner to instructor, you can send a message to your instructor through Canvas. And this is primarily how I have my students interact with me if they have a question about some kind of content within Canvas. Otherwise, if they have a question that's just library related, then they can email me. But this is primarily how I have students interact with me. I'll get to the Blackboard side in a second. For learner to content, these students can work with the multimedia that is actually in the LMS in Canvas, whether if they are videos, sound files, anything that the instructor has added in, but it has to be set up by the instructor. For tests, there are multiple choice quizzes. The instructor can also set up short answer or essay questions, and there are pathways, which is one of my favorite things about Canvas, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. They can also link to outside sources, but again, it has to be set up by the instructor. So you can see here on the left, these are options that I have in Canvas where I can link to my Google Drive, to Office, Canvas has its own studio where you can edit your videos. I can link to Britannica, Nearpod, Discovery Education, Teaching Books, Worldbook Online. So if this is set up, then the students can access it. You'll see down here where these little I's are crossed out. These are things that my students don't have access to see on their end. And then with Learner to System, when the students are on the dashboard of their Canvas account, they can change the order of the course tiles, and they can add or take away color overlays on the images for their courses. They can access the outside sources like what I just showed you if those are set up by the instructor. There's the help button down here. Now, my district has a specific help person that has a specific phone number. There's a specific email, and they can also use the chat here that is specific to my district. So that means there's somebody at all times who is manning the help desk in Canvas if my students or teachers need help there. And then there is a calendar, and it can send email reminders if the learner sets that up. Now in Blackboard, it is a little different. So in Blackboard, for learner to learner, there are discussion boards, just like in Canvas. Students can inbox message each other. But here, there's also a group space. So a teacher or the instructor can set up and add students to groups, and then those groups can communicate within each other and hold their own virtual meetings. I have actually used the Blackboard virtual meetings before, and I kind of prefer it to Zoom because it just makes things a lot easier. And if you're working together on something, you can put all your files in one place and not have to worry about using a Google Drive link or a Microsoft link. Everything is there. And then if the instructor set up wikis, you can have something where you put just like a wiki page, and then the students interact with that. For learner to instructor, once again, you can message your instructor, but this time there are also virtual meetings and a virtual office space for the instructor. For learner to content, it's pretty much the same as Canvas, except there are only, from what I saw in this section, there were only multiple choice quizzes, but we'll get to that when we talk about assessments. And then again, there are links to outside sources, and this one, they can also link to university policies. And learner to system, the learners can access outside sources, and again, the calendar will send email reminders. All right, now we're going to talk about course templates. So when you're talking about the course templates in Canvas, there's not really a course template, but there is that checklist that I showed in the beginning, and you can import previously made course content or content from the Commons. So if you have had a previous course, you can download all of that content and upload it into your new course. Or there's also a sandbox that you are given, which is kind of just like a play course where you can make all your things, and that's personally how I create my course content. I make everything in my sandbox and then transfer it over to my courses, because my courses with my students in them get archived at the end of the year. This way, all of my content I've created stays in my sandbox, and that is just for me. So that one stays unpublished. You can also import or export content from the Commons, and that has both content from your district and Canvas users. I couldn't find anything like that in Blackboard. All right, so for the grade book, there were a lot of things that I want to show here. So I'm going to move my camera up here so it's not in the way. Okay, so there is no access from the dashboard page in Canvas to the gradebook or the grades, but when you go into your course, you can go to gradebook. So this is what it looks like on my end as an instructor. So you can see here are my students, here are the assignments they've had, and here's who has done what. So this was from the end of the school year, and a lot of it just wasn't getting done because I had them working on other things, so that's fine. But normally there would be grades for assignments. Then what I really like is in the gradebook, if I clicked on this, where it says due May 25th, end of year activity, it would take me to the activity, which was right here. And then I can go to the speed grader. And the speed grader is one of my favorite things about Canvas, because I can see all of my students' work and just click next. So I can see this is what the speed grader looks like. Here's what my students submitted. I can put their grade. I can see the comments they've added, and I can add my own comments or add an emoji. And then I can just click that arrow at the top and just go through all of them quickly. So that's a really handy tool in the gradebook in Canvas. In Blackboard, I like that I can see my grades from right when I log in. So from my homepage or my dashboard, I can click on my grades and see this is how I've done so far in one class. I can also see on the instructor side, these are what the grades look like for my courses. So these are the courses that I am being a TA for. So I can see what the course averages are of what everyone is having or what everyone is getting in their grades. I can see what is currently being worked on, how many more I need to grade for each thing. And then it tells me how many things are missing and how many students have participated. That is a really neat thing that I wish Canvas had. There's also the Grade Center on the instructor side of Blackboard. So if I go to Grade Center inside the course, so this is specifically in the collection development course, and then I go to needs grading, I can see everything that has been submitted with the timestamps. This one even tells me that it's late. It tells me what assignment or test is being worked on. And then this is where it would have the student's name. So I blocked that out. But it's easy to see what exactly I need to get graded. Then if I go to Full Grade Center, it shows me the student's name, the last time they logged into Blackboard, and then it shows me their total grades so far. So that's another handy tool. So for social network support, I did not find anything where I could import or export content from social networks in either Canvas or Blackboard. Now, that being said, I am also not very familiar with the instructor side of Blackboard. I'm still learning it because, like I said, I just got access to this as a TA for this summer. So as long as I've had access to our course this summer, which is what, 2 weeks, then that's how long I've had access to the instructor side of Blackboard. So I'm still learning. So if that is inaccurate, please give me feedback and let me know because I would love to know how that would work. In Canvas, I am a little more familiar with, and I don't see any way to support social network anything other than Google Drive, if you want to consider that social. Next, we're going to talk about the calendar and scheduling. This is one of the coolest tools that I learned about literally today when we talk about Blackboard. So in Canvas, the students can see their month view. I used May because we're not in school right now. So this is what it looked like for my side, because I had all of the assignments due on certain days. And so I can see what is due. And then you'll see on the little calendar here, there's a box around the 6th and the 25, because that's where I have things that are actually due on those days. And then they are color coordinated to the courses I have here. Then this is what I also like about the calendar in Canvas. So on May 6th, if I clicked on one of these boxes for one of these assignments, it would show me this is the assignment that I'm talking about. So it's an easy access for both myself and the students. I can easily go into my calendar and see what's coming up, what I need to work on, and then just go straight to it from my calendar. There's also the week view. So I can see that on Friday at midnight, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 things due. And then there's also the agenda view where I can see exactly what is coming up and what date. In Canvas, there's also a in Blackboard, there's also a month view. And this one, I personally like better just because I don't like the month view that is in Canvas like this because of how it scrunches the weeks that you don't have anything due. Now in Blackboard, everything is the same, and that might just be because of how I like to see my calendars, but everything is the same. And I can see again my courses and what's happening is color coded, and it also tells me this is what's due, and then these are things that I need to grade. So I love that they are color coded just like they are in Canvas. There's also the day view in Blackboard. So I can see here is last Tuesday, the 7th. So I had something that I needed to grade. And then this is something that I actually had assigned that I had to turn in. So that was nice to see. And then this is today's. So today I have 1, 2, 3 assignments that I need to grade. And then this pink one is the one that tells me I have something due tonight that is actually my assignment. But you can actually see here on the little dots under the days, that tells me that there's something on those days. And then at the top, so over here, you would see this was how I had it as a schedule. And then I can also sort my calendar by the due dates. And this is kind of like the agenda view in Canvas. So I guess in this aspect, it just depends on how you like to see what is coming up. And in this aspect, I prefer the Blackboard calendar because I like how theirs is laid out. And I also like the due dates part. All right, for assessment support, this was very interesting because I have built assessments in Canvas before, but I never had in Blackboard before. So this was also really helpful to help me learn more about Blackboard. So in Canvas, there are a few things you can do with assessments. They are not called assessments in Canvas, they are called quizzes. You can't change that. You can build rubrics for every quiz, and you can also build rubrics if you had a project coming up for your students and they could see exactly how they're going to be graded. You can also build mastery paths based on the quiz outcomes. Now, a mastery path is going to show, okay, if I have all of the TEKS, the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, loaded into my course, I can assign them to each question on my quiz. And then if a student gets something wrong, based on that TEK, then Canvas would automatically send them to a lesson or to an assignment or to another quiz question that is also related to that TEK, because then I can get feedback from Canvas on exactly where my students need work on their specific TEKs. Now, I don't need to do that because in my district, we have another testing software that does all that for us. You don't have to load all of that into it, but it is very helpful for teachers who don't have that software. So when you're building an assessment or a quiz in Canvas, in your module, you would just go to add quiz, and then you give it a name. So for this one, I gave it the name example. And then you give it how many points it's worth, what group you're putting it in, and then you're going to give add the information to it. You can also add a link. So this link is what you could put in and give to students. You can also put that link in your gradebook if your gradebook is not linked to Canvas. And then you assign it. So if you only want certain students to take that quiz, change the due date, how long it's going to be available. You'll see down here, you can add a rubric and then you would build it. When you build it is when you put the questions in. If you weren't going to build your quiz in Canvas, then over here under submission type, you could change that, or you could also just add instructions to your quiz. But if you wanted to build your quiz in Canvas, it would look like this. You would put your title, put your question, and then change how you want the question to be seen. You can make it be a multiple choice question. There are endless ways to change your questions in Canvas. It's really, really cool. And then of course at the end, you tell Canvas what's a correct or incorrect answer, and then it gives you a grade. Blackboard does something similar, but there are different ways or different terms for the tests. They're called test, surveys, make an assignment. You can make a self and peer assignment assessment, a video quiz, something for TK20, and then a McGraw-Hill assignment. I've never worked with that, so I don't know how that works. But I like that there are different terms and different tools for each assessment type. If you were going to build a test, so I went to test, and then I would create a new test. And you can either add a test you've already created that you've maybe saved and you haven't published yet, or you can start a new one. So I went to make a new one and hit submit. And then I would give it a name, and you put in some description and the instructions and hit submit. And then it looks like this. So I named my test example, and then it would let me create questions. I can reuse a question, maybe from an older test, or I can upload my questions if I've created them somewhere else. This one I did not find rubrics for, but I did like that it was a little easier to create the test. And then I can see these are all the tests that I've created before. This is what they were, the last time I deployed them, and the last time I edited them. So I also think that's very handy. And finally, we're going to talk about resource management. So in Canvas, the instructors can create their course content directly inside Canvas, or they can import it again, like I said, from the Commons, or they can upload things into Canvas. You can also organize your course into modules, and then within those modules you can move things around, you can publish or unpublish, It's very user friendly. And then, like I said, you can import existing content whether you have it in another course, if it's in a sandbox, or you can import from the Commons, which is where other teachers upload their content that they have created for their own courses. And then you can use that multiple times. In Blackboard, I do not think that Blackboard on the instructor side is as user friendly as Canvas is, because course content can be organized using the links that are here on the left, and they can be organized into modules, but you have to create the modules, where yes, you have to make them in Canvas, but you can actually visually see the modules, whereas in Blackboard you have to go to the modules and then each one is different. It's just a lot more clicking than you see in Canvas. I did not see how you can move items between modules because they're like different clicks, whereas in Canvas I could just click and drag items into the different modules. And in Blackboard, you can upload and download your course content, but I did not see something like the Commons like there is in Canvas. So I hope that helps you make a decision between Canvas and Blackboard. I think both of them have great attributes and great ways to use it, and I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email and my social media handles are on the screen. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.